if you believe that the idea has the potential to brighten up someone else's day, or change someone else's perspective for the better, or inspire someone to do something differently, then you have the core ingredient to a truly great talk, one that can be a gift to them and to all of us.
Interesting. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. No, I don't like that. Back to one. Let's try that again. What's up, guys? Hope you're all having a very highly successful day. It feels so good. You cannot imagine how good it feels to say that again. It has been so long since we posted an official John.au YouTube video on this channel. I could not be more excited about this or AU19. Look, I know the year's really kind of coming down to an end. We're starting it at the later half of 2019, but I'm going to tell you something. It doesn't mean that we can't get some awesome content out in the meantime before the new year, 2020, which we are ready to absolutely kick ass. So, what was I just watching? What is this whole video about? Well, as you saw by the title, this video is why you need to be giving a TED Talk. And specifically, it's going to be episode 1 of my Journey to Giving a TED Talk series. It's kind of like a video journal, a video log of my entire process to my hopeful end goal of what I'd like to do is give a TED Talk. And I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about why I want to do that in this video, but more importantly, why I think it's so important for everybody to at least aspire to give a TED Talk, and really the great parts of the TED Foundation. I want to share a couple of my thoughts with you today and hopefully get some ideas flowing. So the video that you just saw there, that is Chris Anderson. He is the head of the TED Foundation, and that video is really great. It's going to be linked down below. A lot of the stuff in this video is going to be pulled directly from him in that video. So if you want to check the original content, citing the sources, go check that out down below. And while watching this video, Chris Anderson brings up a really excellent point. And he asks the audience, he says, and what is an idea anyway? And the way Chris Anderson describes it is an idea is a pattern of information that helps you understand and navigate the world. In fact, the more research I did, I find that defining an idea becomes slightly harder and harder. It's almost like this untangible, abstract thing. I was on a website called speakupforsuccess.com. That'll be linked down below. And on that website, they quote a man, Jeremy Donovan, from his How to Deliver a TED Talk. And he says exactly this: an idea is not a theme, a general truth, a platitude, or a big goal. Everyone wants to feel included. This is not an idea, it's a general truth. Empowerment is not an idea, it's a topic. And you really start to think about it, and I think, well, so then how do I know the things that I want to discuss are ideas? And then I watched this incredible YouTube video by Mind Valley Insights. And it was specifically by a speaker named Peter Smith, and he was talking about how to give a TED Talk in 20 minutes. We think about TED Talks, right? And we think of it to be these really large, complex topics from these very loquacious and elegant speakers. And then someone says, let me teach you how to do that in 20 minutes. Almost sounds too good to be true, but I can give him 20 minutes to listen to what he has to say. So I listened to this video, and Peter Smith talks about one thing primarily. He talks about getting your message to the entire audience. You know, in today's day and age, we have so many distractions between electronics, social media, and things that have made our lives so much easier, but it also adds a level of distraction and unclarity to things in our lives. So getting a very distinct message through to an audience can be a difficult thing to do. And in that video, he talks about how to make sure that that message is very, very clear to your audience. He says P.T. Barnum had an incredible quote, and I want to share it with you here today. And that quote is, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. So you tell them 3 times. Again, that's tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. And by doing that, the rule of 3, it helps the brain understand, memorize, and hold on to what it is that you just told them. And I really found that those things were helping me in the beginning process of formulating my want to give a TED Talk, and helped me formulating some of my ideas. And what I did was I took this notebook and I wrote down some general ideas of concepts that I may want to talk about. So how the series is going to work is I'm going to pick one of those 4 topics. And the topic that I pick is going to be the one that I run with to try and hopefully one day give a TED Talk or a TEDx talk. And then I'm going to pick another topic, one that I think is equally good, and use that one to run here with the series and show my development on that topic. The reason I want to kind of save the actual TED Talk topic is because I want to reveal that through the different speaking processes that lead up to the greater TED Talk. But I think that this notebook is looking just a little bit bland, and it can use a little bit of a touch-up to make it a little more unique. Let's do that real quick. You know what? I think that looks pretty cool. Definitely gives it a little more character, and make sure I don't forget what this notebook is for. But at the start of this video, I said that you need to give a TED Talk. In fact, it's the title of this video. And so far, what have I told you? I've told you why I want to give a TED Talk. I told you why I think TED Talks are important and why it's good for me. And maybe you're sitting there thinking, hey John, that's great, and I wish you luck with that, but how does that apply to me? Why should I look to give a TED Talk? And I think that's a really good question. And let me try to explain it to you now. There's one thing that I think the TED Talk concept does incredibly well that a lot of other things in this world don't offer us. And that is an incredibly low barrier of entry to success. Think about it. We're all passionate about something. We all have something that we care about. Now maybe, what it is you care about is more so a topic or a general truth than it is an idea. But most of us would be able to extrapolate some sort of idea for whatever it is that we're passionate about. A lot of things in life, experience, who you know, money, all of those things, age, could all get into the way. But TED effectively removes all those barriers of entry to success. You don't have to be rich to give a TED Talk. You don't have to be old to give a TED Talk. There is TEDx Youth, there's TEDx, there's actual the full TED Talks themselves. All those ideas and versions of this concept, this TED concept, this speaking concept, allow it to be highly accessible for those people who desire to do this. It's a long process. I don't know when this video series is going to conclude. I'm starting it today, and it might be 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road before I'm actually able to give a TED Talk. But what is the aspiration doing for me? And it's very simple. It's allowing me to take an idea, a very basic idea, extrapolate on it, listen to the viewpoints of others, develop it, and set a goal and achieve a goal. The TED Talk is the long-term goal, and you have all the short-term goals that fall in the intermediate that I have to achieve while I strive to get that TED Talk. So it allows me to take an idea, extrapolate on that idea, grow that idea into something that is tangible, that something is worth speaking about, and then achieve the goals that lead up to my long-term goal. It's a great practice, and not only is it a great practice for me as an individual, or for you as an individual if you go and take these steps, but you're improving the world. If you watch my short film, The Entrepreneur in Me, which I put out about 2 years ago to this point, but in that video specifically, before you go watch it, I talked about that if we run out of fossil fuels, we can find other ways to make the world go round. But if we run out of brain power, we're done. And now that concept I know is kind of like, well, if we run out of fossil fuels, we're probably not going to be in a great place out there. I totally understand that. But I want to think about something here. If we run out of a resource, but we have brain power, we can figure out ways to replace that resource. If we run out of brain power and we run out of the resource, we're in trouble. Maybe you're thinking, okay, but how does this all relate to me giving a TED Talk? It all wraps back, and it's going to wrap back right now. We talked about what a TED Talk does. Grow an idea, extrapolate on that idea, achieve a whole bunch of short-term goals around that idea, and then finally achieve your long-term goal, which is to give a TED Talk. Spread positivity and improve the world. By doing all of that, the amount of creativity, the amount of individuality, the amount of brain power, the amount of, just to put it simple, thinking for ourselves that is necessary is unparamount. The positive characteristics, the positive attributes that pursuing to give a TED Talk, that pursuing a topic you're passionate about gives the individual, I think is more freeing than about anything else on this planet. Freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of an idea. And in my opinion, that is what a TED Talk is all about. Freedom of idea, freedom of thought, freedom of expression. Go out there, take what you're passionate about, and let the world know why you're passionate about it. Let us know why it matters. Because I think we're in a day today where the amount of expression, the amount of talking, the amount of idea sharing is getting limited and limited. As we get more and more ways to share those ideas, the less ideas we want to share. And I think TED Talk provides a positive educational environment to share ideas that are necessary for the population to talk about. And I don't see why there's any reason that every one of you that has an idea can't pursue it into a TED Talk. Can't pursue it, and if you don't want to take it to a TED Talk, can't pursue it and write it down, put a blog. You can't put it out into a public speaking forum at, say, maybe your college or your community. That's the thing. It doesn't actually matter if you ever get to the TED Talk point. That's the cherry on top of the cake, if you will. But look, you've built the cake, you've built the icing, you put the sprinkles, maybe a little whipped cream on top. You've done all of that. And look at the amount of good, positivity, freedom of thought, freedom of expression that you've layered on top of each other to make that cake. That is ultimately your idea, and ultimately that idea is a representation of you. So by improving that idea, by improving your thought, by extrapolating on it, by growing it, in my opinion, you're simultaneously growing yourself and everyone around you that you spread that idea and positivity to. It is so imperative today that we can keep sharing our ideas, that we keep growing our ideas, that we keep open conversation possible. And I think TED Talks do that incredibly well and provide an environment for us to do that. And for that reason, growing yourself, getting exposure, low barriers of entry, and growing your ideas and sharing them positively to the world is the reasons why TED Talks are so important, and why I think just the pure pursuit to give one is enough to change a life for the better. With that, guys, I hope you enjoyed. It was kind of a little heavy video there, but stay tuned for this. I'm gonna get back to work with my topics and really start to narrow down which one I think is the best idea to run with. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one. Stay tuned, and let's have a great year.